And in fact, it's not clear whether Senator McCain's pressure was what forced those Republicans to vote to move to cloture, or whether it was President Obama on the stump himself. Here was President Obama with Newtown families in Connecticut.
It's time to restore the ban on military-style assault weapons and a 10-round limit for magazines to make it harder for a gunman to fire 154 bullets into his victims in less than 5 minutes. Let's put that to a vote.
Among the audience were parents of some.
Of course, folks, we've said it before that the gun debate has changed in this country since the Newtown massacre. And you ask yourself, how can someone like Jim Rich, the senator from Idaho, really stay with his position after hearing from those parents, after hearing speeches like the one that President Obama made? Of course, the president continuing to insist that we ban large capacity ammo magazines and assault style rifles, though of course at this point the Senate bill does not contain that, and it looks like that would have to be brought in as an amendment, which, given the political difficulties even universal background checks are facing, I think it's safe to say is almost a political non-starter. Now, in fact, the legislative compromise that allowed this bill to proceed to the floor for debate was one made by two very, very conservative senators, both respectively from the conservative wings of their party and from rural parts of the country, Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia and Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania. They forged an amendment that would presumably cover fewer cases in terms of the universal background checks, but it would force record keeping. They spoke also very emotionally about the compromise that they forged, which brought enough Republican senators around to provide more than 60 votes needed to prevent a filibuster. Here's how Senator Manchin and Senator Toomey spoke about their compromise.
We have an agreement on an amendment to prevent criminals and the mentally ill and insane from getting firearms and harming people.
I don't consider criminal background checks to be gun control. I think it's just common sense. If you pass a criminal background check, you get to buy a gun. It's no problem. It's the people who fail a criminal or a mental health background check that we don't want having guns.
And of course, that is the exact logic behind closing the gun show loophole and making sure that all gun sales, private or from private sellers or from commercial sellers, are done with background checks, making that policy case very simply. And of course, that was the compromise that allowed this bill to move to the floor. We have a great show ahead, and of course, David Shuster will be joining us once we get these technical issues ironed out. But we're going to be talking a little bit more about the politics behind this gun legislation, where things go from here with David Shuster, with Charlie Mitchell, our congressional expert, when Take Action News continues after this.